So you've recently seen us cover a lot of engine swaps on the channel. That Brio over there is a great example of that. But this thing is just a notch above. It's even crazier. So if I just open up the hood, ta-da! As you can see, there is no engine because this is the fuel cell of a Suzuki Swift, and the engine, well, that's in the back. That's where the party is going on. So let me just show you what it has. So if you remove these hood clips and lift up the rear hatch, well, this over here is a G13B engine from a Suzuki Swift, but it's been put over here in the back, and this car is rear-wheel drive. So this is a mid-engine, rear-wheel drive Suzuki Swift built by Sportec. So let me just quickly talk about how this thing looks, because at first glance, yeah, it probably looks pretty normal, but once you start looking at the little details here and there, you instantly understand that this thing is just something crazy. Because if you look through the front window, you can only see 2 seats, and then you have this massive plate at the back which like basically differentiates the front half and the rear half, because I'm pretty sure the engine must be getting super hot, so all of that heat must be transferring to the front. Thus there is like a barrier in the middle. And if you come to the back over here, the rear door has been completely sealed shut, so you can't open it at all anymore. And you have these air ducts over here for even better cooling for the engine. Of course, the car is completely slammed to the floor because, you know, that's what you have to do to get the best amount of handling. And I love the fact that it's finished in this taxi yellow kind of paint and white wheels, because that looks super cool. And you have these ducts over here on the top as well, which improve the breathing for the engine even more. And if you start going all around the car, you'll see small little race car-y details. Like for example, over here at the front, you have these quick release pins over here, so that you know you can just remove this latch and drop the bumper. So same is with the back. And over here at the back, yeah, this thing is made out of completely fiber. Like the hatch is made out of fiber. It has Sportec embedded inside. Even the window is not made out of glass, it's made out of plexi material. So this thing is all about weight shedding and just being a race car. So now let's come to the back. What everyone wants to know about is, what the hell has Sportec done to this car? Well, it's kind of a weird thing because this is not as straightforward as it seems. So basically what they've done is they've bought 1.5 Suzuki Swifts for this build. So they've of course bought this car, which is a complete car, and they bought the front end of a Swift which has been crashed from the back, I guess. They basically chopped off the area that they needed, which is the engine, the subframe around that and everything like that. They cut the rear half of this particular Swift and basically lodged in the front half of the other Swift that they bought, and that's basically how they made this into a rear-wheel drive mid-engine Suzuki Swift. And the most difficult part about that is actually aligning the car properly by doing the proper measurements and calculations, because even like a millimeter here and there might be off, and the car will basically not run straight. It will go teda meda or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, this is a very interesting and a very amazing engineering feat that these guys have done over here. So now let's get to the engine itself. So it has a custom header, custom exhaust. Of course, it has a big ass air intake over here. You have dual radiator fans over here for improved cooling. And I'm not sure the horsepower figures of this car. Even they're not sure about the horsepower figures, because this thing is really not about that. Stock, this thing used to produce around 87 bhp and 113 Nm of torque, and now it's probably touching 100 HP and maybe 150 Nm of torque. Should be somewhere around that ballpark. So these guys actually wanted to make this into kind of like a budget drift build. Of course, the budget has been blown up because of these things that they've done. They're basically pioneers in doing something like this. So yeah, probably it's taken some extra money to get this thing done, but they've of course locked the differential, so you know it'll slide the way you want it to, and it has shorter gear ratios, you know, so for quick acceleration and staying in the power band. So very interesting. Let's hop into the inside and see how the interior is. So hopping into the interior is a little bit easier than the rally polo we covered in this Delhi trip because the roll cage isn't that intrusive. But yeah, if you guys haven't already noticed, it has a FIA spec roll cage inside. And yeah, this thing is pretty mad on the inside as well. Everything has been stripped out. You have no headliner. Yeah, the carpets are changed. Of course, the seats, this is a Sparco racing seat which holds you into place while you're doing your tomfoolery. You have a couple of really cool looking switches over here, but still somehow it has the audio system that came with it, I'm pretty sure. And you have a hydraulic handbrake as well. And yeah, if you haven't noticed, a massive plate over here for the barrier between the driver and the engine. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this thing must be getting super hot because the AC also has been deleted. You get a racing harness also from Sabelt, and apart from that, yeah, it's a pretty normal looking interior in that sense. So I don't think we should waste any time. Start up the car and see if we can drive it around a little bit. Again, I'm not sure if you can hear me or not because literally the engine is right behind me and it's so loud inside. I mean, it's deafening. That's how loud it is. Now, just off the top of my head, let me tell you what I feel basically. First of all, you have this feeling that you're being pushed and not pulled. And when you go around the corner slowly, you can feel that the diff is working its part and you can feel the wheels and all, everything like making noises and everything. So yeah, it feels rear wheel drive now. But it's still kind of technically front wheel drive because the front end is from a different Swift. And is it fast? Not really. It's still pretty much like a stock engine, like they haven't done any turbocharging or anything of that sort, so it's not really powerful as such. But yeah, if you could hear that, that is basically the wheels hopping or whatever. And I've stalled. कुछ आ रहा है क्या? कुछ आ रहा है क्या? पता नहीं आ रहा है. So this thing is still a work. So this thing is still a work in progress. So a lot of the stuff is still being worked on. Of course, this thing is made for drifting. The drifting scene over here in North India is on the come up. So everyone is trying their hand and trying to make something really cool for drifting. And I have to say, this is one of the most quirkiest. And I mean, it's just it's comical how funny this thing is. I mean, it's a Swift that is rear wheel drive. How funny is that? But it still can do donuts and all of that stuff. And I'm pretty sure with more power or maybe a more skilled driver, it can hold pretty good drifts. Now, unfortunately, I'm not a drifter and yeah, this road isn't really made for drifting. So I'm not going to be doing all of that. But I can see how much fun this thing is. And it's just so loud. Oh my God. Whew. It gets this big ass gear shifter over here, which is absolutely massive, but definitely needed. I'm creating a ruckus over here around these local areas. Woo! Now instantly the steering feels a little bit more communicative and direct because there's no power going through it, so it immediately feels a lot more free, a lot more direct. Yeah, you definitely need a lot of practice, which I, of course, don't have. But yeah, this thing is something really special. Hats off to Sport Tech for doing such a project. I mean, this is stuff that people want to see, and yeah, finally a rear wheel drive Swift. Amazing. So do give them a follow on their Instagram, because yeah, they take on some really amazing projects, stuff that you really don't see in India. So do give them a follow. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to our channel for more amazing content like this. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.